Time is 6 p.m. I'd like to call to order this special meeting of the Mayor and Town Council for Tuesday, December 17th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So Jonathan, can you do the roll call? Or do you want me to do it?
I'm on.
Oh, you are? Oh, Susan, you're here. Sorry. You're on. Apologies.
Counselor Boudreaux,
Here.
Counselor Gonzalez,
Here.
Counselor Mankey,
Here.
Counselor Nagel,
Here.
Counselor Page,
Here.
Counselor Plord.
Here. Thank you,
Deputy-
Susan.
Oh, you're welcome. Deputy Mayor Rada,
Here.
Counselor Tiniakos,
Here.
Mayor Trister.
Here. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
Next on the agenda is public participation on agenda items only. If you're in the room or over Zoom and would like to speak in public participation, please come up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record, or use the raise hand function in Zoom. Seeing none. We didn't get any email correspondence related to this, correct? Very good. Excellent. We'll move right along. Any remarks from councilors on public participation? Seeing none, we will move right on to new business. Item A, collective bargaining, ASME contract agreement, and a waiver has been requested. Councilor Page, would you please read the first resolution?
5A1.
Yes, please.
Absolutely, Mayor. Thank you. Resolved that the Newington Town Council, in accordance with Section 14 of the Town Council Rules of Procedure adopted April 9, 2024, hereby moves to allow action on agenda item 5A to authorize Jonathan Altschul, Town Manager, to execute the ASME labor contract for July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2028.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Page, seconded by Deputy Mayor Rada. Because we are waiving the rules, I will open it up to public participation at this point. If you'd like to speak in public participation, please come to the microphone or use the raise hand function in Zoom. Seeing none, we will move on. So we had a motion on the table from Councilor Page, seconded by Deputy Mayor Rada. Any discussion from councilors on this? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Councilor Page, can you read the next one?
Yes, Mayor. Resolved whereas Local 2930 membership ratified the proposed July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2028 labor contract on December 14, 2024. And whereas after said ratification by the membership, the proposed contract would be considered for town council approval. And now therefore be it resolved that the Newington Town Council hereby approves the proposed ASME contract 2930. ASME Local 2930 contract, July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2028, and authorizes Jonathan Altschul, Town Manager, to execute said contract on behalf of the town.
Second. Motion by Councilor Page, seconded by Councilor Plord. Any discussion from councilors on this? Councilor Mankey.
I just wonder if the town manager could just say a few words of why we're doing this. For the public, anybody who's here or listening, probably, just why we're doing it so quickly, just so it doesn't say we're just rushing this through and nobody's paying attention, just so we know.
So this actually, the contract actually covers the period from July 1st of this past year, so 5.5 months ago through June 30th of 2028. So as part of the agreement, there would be retroactive pay for that 3% increase for the first 5.5 months of the year. So getting it in before the holidays allows the finance department to run a special payroll this week so that everybody in the union will get a nice little, essentially Christmas bonus, as they had no raise for the last basically 18 months. So that's the urgency here.
Thank you. Just explains for the public why we're doing this, why we're having a special meeting, why we're doing it, the week before Christmas, and it kind of explains why the rush.
Councilor Boudreaux.
Well, actually, my question was simply, how does this work retroactively? You said that they're going to be like lump sum.
Correct. There'll be a lump sum, like a retroactive pay increase for that first 5.5 months that folks didn't have a raise.
Okay. What about things, I'm just curious how it works, like floating holiday, that won't I mean, if somebody wanted to take it now, did they?
As soon as so again, the whole contract is retroactive to July 1st. So yes, those union members will be eligible for that additional floating holiday it's a use it or lose it. So if you don't use it by the end of June 30th of this year, you lose it.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It
So
doesn't
not
roll
calendar
over.
year.
Not calendar, no, it's fiscal year.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Siniakis?
Yeah, I did my best to read through all this, but are there any like notable big changes compared to the last contract that we have with them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything huge. I mean, obviously the highlight, the headline items are 3% pay raises for the next 4 years. The new floating holiday, and that was, a new floating holiday. Now, I'll just leave it at that. And then long-term disability insurance for all membership, not just previously it was kind of your the grounds crews, the highway crews, the engineering crews, those sorts of positions had long-term disability. Now, everybody in the union, the administrative positions, the clerical positions, they would have LTD as well. And then other than that, there's some, adjustments to these sort of small reimbursements or allowances that members are eligible for. The other one thing I want to draw your attention to, and this is a larger thing, and we're going to need to formally amend the town's personnel rules in January. So I'll have something under new business, but this is about the new Connecticut Paid Sick Leave Act. So there's a side letter in this at the end of this contract that basically gets us into compliance with that new law. It says, and the key things are, it's a much more sort of flexible sick leave provisions than what we currently have in our policy. It requires employers to provide sick leave in 1 hour increments instead of 4 hour increments is what we sort of do now. And it broadens the types of things that are eligible for sick leave. So for example, you can now, as of January 1st, you'll be able to take a mental health day. It also, for the first 40 hours that you claim sick leave, you're not required to show a doctor's note. So that will take a little, I think, adjusting townwide. This isn't anything specific to the union per se. Take a little bit of adjusting townwide to sort of see how this goes. And I think it's going to be an interesting experiment for all employers in the state to see how it goes. And we'll know more, I think, in the next few months. So.
That's effective as of this upcoming year. That's like brand new regular like standards for it.
Yeah, and it's going to apply to every Connecticut employer with more than, I think, 25 employees.
Deputy Mayor Rada?
I think you probably answered my question. I was just gonna ask if you had anything specific that you wanted to mention as you went through the negotiations.
Yeah, other than I would just add, it was obviously my first go around doing union negotiations in Connecticut. I thought it was a really amicable process, and hats off to all of the union membership, and the really folks came to the table prepared to think about how we can thread that needle between being fair to employees but also fair to taxpayers, and I thought it was a really positive process all around.
Thank you.
Counselor Page?
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I just wanted to say I appreciate all the hard work you folks have done, and I appreciate sounds like the good faith extended by the union. I'm a supporter of the right to organize and a supporter of labor. I think if we look at the history of unions in this country and what they've given us, including 40-hour work week and health benefits and child labor laws and safety on job sites and healthcare and on and on and on, and so many benefits that those who have millions and billions of dollars would love nothing more than folks, those of us in the working class and the middle class, to argue with one another over labor rights. And I think that as long as we do that, we're missing the larger point that there are tremendous injustices and inequities in this country that unions address, at least in part. That those battles and those struggles will continue. But I just wanted to use this moment to appreciate all of our workers and the rights and benefits afforded through union organizing and labor, and I hope it continues. And I hope it expands. I think in this time of billionaires filling almost every cabinet position in Washington and millionaires and billionaires making more and more of the decisions, I think this kind of thing protects all of us. And let's not fight with each other, us non-millionaires and billionaires, and let's support each other. So thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Nagel.
Yeah, I believe we should all support each other within the different provinces that we have, especially our town employees as well as each other here. We're elected officials. Silly question. Just wanted to know if the next item on the agenda is somehow connected to this agenda item being passed or not.
Yes, as part of the agreement, the tentative agreement that was worked out by the negotiating teams, we agreed that as part of this contract, there would also be the reclassifications of those 4 administrative clerk 3s to a new administrative clerk 4 position. So I can reclassify the people administratively as town manager, but we need to create, or council needs to approve a job description to move them into. So that's the purpose of that.
Okay, I didn't mean
Yeah.
to jump ahead, but
I was gonna ask.
It's a good question. It was part of the overall
And then-
tentative agreement.
when we get to the next item,
Yeah.
you can answer that again.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further discussion from counselors on this? All right, we had a motion by Counselor Page, seconded by Counselor Plord. All those in favor? Any opposed? None, motion carries unanimously. Right, right along. Jonathan, before we jump into item B, do you want to give us an overview of what we're doing here?
Yeah, so every school basically in the principal's office, they have a school secretary, but they also have an administrative clerk 3. The union made a request to have those administrative clerks, who, as I said, provide support services in the principal's office, to have them reclassified to move them up given the nature of their work. Currently, they're at what's called a C6 pay grade. The agreement that we sort of negotiated agreement was to move and this was based on discussions too with Dr. Brahma and her staff, to move just the 4 administrative clerk 3s that work in the 4 elementary schools, to move them up 1 level from a C6 to a C7. And the reason for that was related to a level of kind of tact and sensitivity in handling issues with kids, with elementary school kids who maybe don't have cell phones or don't have a direct way of contacting their parents, maybe don't have the emotional maturity yet to advocate for themselves. And it requires a certain level of diplomacy, almost kind of an official social worker kind of skill. So at Dr. Brahma's recommendation, we agreed with the union that we would reclassify those 4 positions from a C6 level to a C7 level. It's a difference in pay of about $3,000 a year. And that was part of this. Reclassifying those people was part of, as I said, in response to Councilor Nagel's question before, it was part of that negotiated agreement that we had around the discussion, around the negotiating table. And as I said, I could administratively, as director of personnel, I can move them into that new position, but because that new position doesn't exist, there's no job description, council needs to take the formal action of authorizing and approving the job description.
Okay. Thank you, Jonathan. Deputy Mayor Rada, would you please read the first part of the resolution?
Yes. Resolved that the Newington Town Council, in accordance with section 14 of the Town Council Rules of Procedure, adopted April 9th, 2024, hereby moves to allow action on agenda item 5B to approve a new job description for administrative clerk 4.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Rada, seconded by Councilor Tiniakis. Because we are waiving the rules, I will open up the floor for public participation. Anyone in the room or Zoom would like to speak in public participation related to this waiver, please come to the microphone or use the raise hand function in Zoom. Seeing none. Motion was made by Deputy Mayor Rada, seconded by Councilor Tiniakis. Any discussion on the waiver? Councilor Tiniakis?
Yeah, I saw that there was like a small monetary increase with this position, but do they get the same benefits that they
Yep,
previously.
absolutely.
acquired?
Just the only difference is salary, but all union members essentially get the same benefits with the exception of some of those reimbursements that I talked about before.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carries unanimously. And would you please read the second part?
Yes.
Please, Deputy Mayor.
Resolved that the Newington Town Council hereby approves the attached job description for an administrative clerk 4 at the C7 classification level.
Second. All right, motion by Deputy Mayor Rada, seconded by Council Floyd. Any discussion on this? Council Draco.
Yeah, no, I understand the reason for it and the rationale, but I'm just not having the other job description in front of us. I mean, what changes are actually?
That's an excellent question. So if we go to the job descriptions at the end of the packet. And so the only new bullet point is that first one, cross-trained in functions associated with a school secretary 1. And we went back and forth on this quite a bit, but it's that cross-training that's the key thing about how to, deal with the parents, how to, handle the kids that may be not able to advocate for themselves. So there was quite a bit of adding and subtracting. It's not much of a difference ultimately in the job description, but that's what we agreed to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other discussion from councilors on this?
And it's only there's 4 of these, right?
Correct. Yep. 4? Yeah. Very good, very good. All right, very good. We had a motion by Deputy Mayor Rada, seconded by Councilor Floyd. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Moving back to public participation on agenda items only. If you're in the room or on Zoom, would like to speak in public participation, please use the raise hand function in Zoom or step up to the microphone in the room. Seeing none, any remarks by councilors?
Thank you.
Christmas, happy
Yeah.
And thank you for your. Merry Christmas,
And
happy New Year.
also, I would add that thank you to Lauren, thank you to Heather.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people made this work, so.
Thank you to
yeah,
the team.
yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you, thank you, thank you.
Our negotiating team.
Thanks.
Whoever they may be.
Thanks. All right, well, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by Council Floyd, seconded by Council Mankey. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 6:18 PM.
All right, bye, everybody.
Merry Christmas, happy New Year, happy holidays, everyone.
And I gotta stay here.